thinking about our younger years. There was only you and me. We were young and wild and free. Now nothing can take you away from me. We've been down that road before, but that's over now.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rachel Pollard, and why we're here today needs no explanation. We are saying a fond farewell to the late and great Kerry Hines. Looking out onto this enormous turnout and sea of colour, I think it's clear that we all know the drill. We are out today to celebrate rather than to mourn, and that is exactly what we intend to do. And it is exactly what Kerry would have wanted. So yes, let's acknowledge and sit with the sadness, because facing that reality head on is the only way. But let's overlay it with a big dose of gratitude for a life well and truly well lived. And Chris and her children have assured me that Kerry would be really cut if we were all moping around. Now, Kerry's life was big in so many ways. She had a big personality, big achievements, a big family, and of course, the big hair. And then there were the big billboards. There was so much personality in Kerry that she appeared in double vision on one of them. Two of her bright smiles looking down on you as you screeched off the roundabout and onto the link road. And it's probably no shock to anyone to hear that Kerry's greatest passions were her family, her career, and her community. And you'll hear more about this from the people who will come up here today to make their tributes to her. But what an inspiration she was. To women, of course, as she smashed through all the glass ceilings, but also to men, children, and anyone who thought that being in a smaller community limits how much you can achieve in any way. And she didn't just sit with her success and hold it close. She used her profile and time to further and champion many causes, many people, and many initiatives. She wanted to make Coffs Harbour great, and there's no doubt that to that end, she did what she came to do. I asked Chris and the kids what Kerry's take on death was. Where did they think she was going? Was there an afterlife? And they all sort of unanimously said, I don't think she thought about it because she thought she was invincible. Kerry Hines had a full to-do list, and she did not have time to die. She had stuff to get done. I'll tell you what did make her to do this though, and unfortunately she didn't get to tick it off, but on her radar was planning the party to end all parties. She was in the process of thinking about planning her own living wake. She really wanted to be here on this day, side by side with you all, to soak up all of the nice words and funny stories and colourful outfits. But time wasn't on her side. So let's make sure we do that justice today and have the kind of party that Kerry had in mind, and one that she would have loved to have been at. And although Kerry didn't particularly have a set belief about where we go after we die, what defined her in life now becomes her legacy in death. Live big, go hard, be amazing, have the courage of your convictions, and never for 1 second settle for anything short of your fullest potential. Her light has not gone out. It is in her children, her grandchildren, and of course Chris. And each of them recognises that little part of Kerry that manifested the biggest in them all. Marshall and Patrick got her work ethic. Natalie has her resilience. Jamie Lee is as fiercely smart as she was. Georgia has the ability to offer a shoulder to anyone who needs some support. And Jessie has her conviction and her direct honesty. In fact, the word bluntness was bandied around, but I went for direct honesty. And then there's Chris, who has soaked it all up during his many years with Kerry and is taking it all forward with him. And I have it on good authority in that he was dobbed in by his own children, that BK, or before Kerry, Chris was a bit of a square. But with Kerry by his side, that square has turned into a big, pink and leopard print circle. And I know that he wouldn't have it any other way. And under Kerry's watchful eye, he has also turned into the kind of person who makes his bed every morning. And has continued to do this since she's passed, and so Kerry's legacy lives on even in the minute details of the everyday. So now let me throw to some of the people who knew Kerry best. The opportunity that we have here today is quite a unique one. It is unlikely that there will ever be a time again when this exact group of people will be gathered with the sole purpose of remembering Kerry. This means that today is the time to talk about her life and share some stories and memories that we can carry on with us into the future. So take the time today to reflect what Kerry meant to you, but also listen out for some little gem that someone else says that you may not have known. Can I please ask Julie Jardine, Jeffrey Bassing and Marshall Emanuel to come up here and share their reflections of a life with Kerry in it.
Sure. So firstly, I'd like to thank Chris for setting up the donation page for Can Do, and thank all of the people that have donated online and today in Kerry's honour. So far we've over $12,000 to help local families, so thank you all very much. So, Kerry Hines. Today you're going to hear about this incredible woman's achievements as a wife, as a mother, a daughter, a sister, a businesswoman and a community leader. So I'm not going to talk about any of that. I'd like to give you just a tiny glimpse of what it was like to be one of her many friends. So Kerry and I met 10 years ago on the Can Do committee, and I've been thinking, what was it that made us click? We could both be occasionally strong-willed, opinionated and blunt. Our hubby said we had no filter. Yet we never had an argument or harsh words with each other in all that time. Kerry was extremely helpful and generous and would do anything for you. She was very supportive and was so easy to have a laugh with. She turned every serious situation around and could always see the funny side of things. And I realised what made being her friend so great. Kerry loved to have fun, and fun we had. So I heard one of her children saying the other night, we were like a pack of teenagers mucking around all the time, always having fun. I don't see the problem anymore. Kerry said to me that every speech should have the F-bomb in it, and she tried to get me to promise to use it today. She said it would be fun. She loved looking for holidays and different experiences that would be fun, whether it was biking around Rome or riding around Bali in the rain at night without helmets and lights. It was always fun. If we said we would have a quiet night and only one drink, she would get us one huge margarita, big enough for 8 people, for a bit of fun. When flights were cancelled to Bali for a few days because of the volcano, we decided to jump on a flight to Phuket. That sounded like fun. When we ended up on Bangalore Road drinking shots at shows and in shows that we shouldn't have been, we think we had fun. Even getting matching tattoos sounded like fun, but luckily we couldn't find a tattoo shop. So leaving Phuket and getting back to quieter Bali was much safer fun. Kerry had a bold personality, she knew everyone and had loads of friends. If anyone gave their phone to her to take their photo, she'd always take a selfie first, without the person knowing, for a bit of fun. She loved the outrageous things in life and packed in as much as she could. She loved going to concerts, tried skydiving, getting around on her scooter in her stilettos, dancing the night away at every opportunity. She wanted to experience everything life had to offer and not miss an opportunity to have fun. Being Kerry's friend was not like a roller coaster ride as some people may think, because there were no downs. It was more like being on the bloody Wipeout of Dreamworld, and I'm thrown sideways, upside down, back and forth, spun around, laughing the whole time and thinking, fuck, that was fun. I nearly got there. So thanks, Kerry, for a great ride. There were so many good times, and we know you'll be somewhere where you're able to still have fun. Thank you.
I haven't had the glasses are very long. I think I should have got one with windscreen wipers. I'm probably missed that. Very proud to be Kerry's brother, and I'll take the opportunity now. On behalf of the family, I'd like to thank everyone for being here to see Kerry off and celebrate such an incredible life that Kerry had in the time he had to be with us all. Kerry was born on the 7th of August 1960 at Sunnyside, a maternity hospital that used to be in Elizabeth Street, Cossava, opposite what is now known as the Motel Street. We did a lot of kids stuff back then, riding bikes all around the place. We had a lot of friends. We played a lot of backyard cricket with the neighbours that always seemed to know when there was a game on. And some things maybe we shouldn't have done. There used to be a cordial factory over the back fence. It used to be called Lippard's Cordials. And Sis and I'd go down there of an afternoon after it was closed and we were home from school. And I'd chimney over the fence and grab half a dozen bottles. They were worth 5 cents a bottle. Pass them over the fence to Sis and we'd run down to the Hattie's Corner store, cash them in and get a bag of lollies each. And when TV first came out, yes, believe it or not, when TV first came out we couldn't afford one to start with, so Kerry and I used to go next door to the Hutchings and sit on the floor with Denise and Linda and watch their TV until we got our own. And then when we did, Dad would give us $1 to go down to Hattie's Corner once again and get a bag of lollies. So they were the good old days. Our first pet was a miniature fox terrier named Midgie. I don't know where we got the name, but she answered to that, so that was all good. And one of the jobs we did with Midgie was to wash her in Dad's wheelbarrow, and as you'll see a little bit later on, Kerry always had a cowgirl outfit on when we did this. When Kerry was 10 years old, Queen Elizabeth and husband Philip visited Cossava. The year was 1970. And Kerry, very proud of being a Brownies, wore a brownie uniform, pinned some flowers out of Mum's garden, and the Queen, and Kerry caught the Queen's eye and came over, shook Kerry's hand as Kerry presented the flowers to her. Dad was a very proud man. He had a black E.H. Holden. And on some Friday and Saturday nights, we would go down to the jetty, the bottom cafe, and grab some fish and chips off Contrafellis. He was a Greek man, but he really knew how to make good fish and chips. And we'd go up on Beacon Hill, up the top of Edinburgh Street, where the water reservoir used to be. And Kerry and I'd sit in the back like a pair of seagulls, and Mum and Dad ate some fish and chips wrapped up in newspaper for us. I think that's where some of the flavour came from. During our school years, we went to Naranga Public School. Kerry excelled at all the grades, as she did with everything else in life later on. We rode our bikes to school. Kerry learned to play the piano. She competed in many of Stedfords and did very well. The final year at Naranga Public School, she was a school prefect and also school captain. After Naranga, she went on to Aurora High School, where she spent the next 6 years there. When Kerry, I think, was about 17, she entered a contest and won Miss Personality. That'd be a surprise, wouldn't it? First prize was a week at the Hyatt in Sydney, a harbour cruise, a trip over to see the dancing horses, some dinners out, some cash. She didn't share that. And of course, she took her mum along to enjoy the prize with. She was also presented with first place the Miss Personality sash. While attending Aurora High School, Kerry was also a DJ at the local community radio station, 2CHY, where she used the DJ name, Kerry Cannelly. A lot of people probably remember that, all the locals going way back. During Kerry's last years of schooling, she was always asked to do modelling, not a surprise, at the local fashion parades by local dress shops. And also while at high school, she worked Saturday mornings and school holidays at a local music shop called the Cossava Music Centre. After school, Kerry attended Armidale Uni to be a school teacher, and while there worked at a restaurant called Victor's, where in no time at all, Victor made her the manager of the restaurant. You could see the potential. She was only, I think, about 19 years old. It was in Armidale that Kerry met Phil and they moved back into Sydney. They moved back to Coffs and had 4 children. The Jessie Marie, Jamie Lee, Georgia D, and of course my mate behind me, Marshall. A bit after all this, they parted ways, and Kerry had the house and kids to support. It was number 1. So Kerry started in real estate with Bobby Cruikshank down at Cruikshank Centre. And I happened to be on a plane going to Sydney one time, and Bobby Cruikshank was there, and I went over and just spoke to him, and Bobby's words about Kerry was she's just brilliant. She has that much enthusiasm into real estate. She was just a plain natural. And she proved everybody right, or proved Bobby right. Now, Chris may not know this. Could be a surprise. Kerry happened to be on a single girls' night out at the Coffset Service Club, and Chris walked through the doors. Coffs Pub, was it? He's me thinking he didn't know. Anyway, I was told the ex-Curvers Club, but we'll go with the Coffs Pub. Anyway, Chris has walked through the doors of the Coffs Pub, and Kerry's looked up at Chris and then made the comment to her girlfriends, "I'll have that." This is a typical comment, not necessarily to do with me, but that was a comment. I'll have him, as if she was ordering a meal from the bistro. Just another quick story that a couple of years ago, it goes that quick. Kerry rang me up. She and Chris were buying a moped, and you've probably seen Kerry, but she was buzzing around town on this moped, and Natalie here today is wearing Kerry's jacket, and typical sister fashion, asked me to go and pick up the moped for her from out around Sapphire, and because she hadn't had a bike licence yet, so there, of course, big brother would go out and pick up this moped, and all I had was Harley Davidson jackets. So all the way from Sapphire, with Lisa in the car with Kerry blowing the horn, just to get a bit of attention. I don't think it was for her. Me on the moped and Harley Davidson jacket. It's the quickest trip back to my place in moped ever made. I said this to Chris at the hospital. When we had a moment, there was only the 3 of us there, I said to Chris, on behalf of our father and myself, we were so proud of Chris for looking after Kerry. And I'm sure Dad, if he hadn't known Chris, couldn't have been any prouder. Kerry's birthday, unfortunately, she spent in hospital 6 days before she passed. She turned 59 years old, the same age our father was when he had the second heart attack that took him. And I know now that Kerry will be back with our father. And those that knew my father would relate to exactly what I'm going to say. When Kerry turned up there, Dad's going to say, "What the bloody hell are you doing here?" Although having to see Kerry again, he would be very happy, but it would be just a little bit too early. So from Fish and Chips on Beacon Hill, sorry, I've missed something here that I'd like to say. I should have said this before everything else, but yeah. If Kerry was a house sold by Unreal Estate, Coffs Coast, it would be a house with solid foundations. I'm going to tell you all about the foundations of my beautiful sister that helped make her the woman she became. That was where I should have started. So from Fish and Chips on Beacon Hill, washing Midgie in the wheelbarrow, being a school captain, a radio DJ, a restaurant manager, hard worker, a very successful real estate agent, surprise Miss Personality. But she was also a daughter from the start, a sister, a wife, mother and a grandmother. All this and more were the foundations of what made my beautiful sister the great person that she was. Kerry will always be every part of Unreal. She will always be Unreal. Till we meet again, sis. Love you so much.
I've been very lucky to be able to call this old leopard print, big head, pink, crazy old lady my mum. Along everyone's journey, she's found a way to motivate and inspire people in many ways to be the best person they can. A few months ago, I was in Sydney at a work meeting, and 8 people, including myself, had to give a presentation in a room of about 30 people. I was last in line, and I really don't like public speaking, as you can tell, especially when I'm in the room and I'm the youngest by at least 10 years. Not today. Lucky for me, the other 7 people had to go before me and were just as nervous. They all sat at their desk and read their presentation off one A4 sheet of paper, their heads down, and only used up around 3 or 5 minutes. After the 7th person went, we stopped for a 15-minute break, and I was nervous as all hell, but also comfortable with the fact that I could stay in my seat, face down, and give a half-assed presentation. During this break, I really thought about what would Mum do in this situation, and what would she expect from me. So my time came up. I handed over my USB stick with my PowerPoint presentation. I got up the front and I owned that room. This is one example of how Mum has helped me in a tough situation without actually being there. When Mum got diagnosed with cancer, I honestly thought she could beat it, just like every other obstacle she has been thrown at her. Without going into any detail, everything Mum has done, she's given 110%. If Mum went swimming with piranhas, you could guarantee she'd eat a fish dinner. Mum never settled for second, she never looked back, she treated everyone equal and always gave back to the community. Mum may have passed away last week, but her legacy will always live on through the local community, hard-working small businesses, pink Unreal Estate property signs, her friends and family, and terrible zombie movies. Thank you.
I'm sorry, mate, my pink jacket was at the laundromat. The best I could do was a purple tie and shirt. On days such as today, we could lament about losing someone so close to us and being taken away from us in their prime, with still so much to offer. And let's be honest, in Kerry's case, she had so much to do and so little time to do it. Or do we instead celebrate the life of an extraordinary woman who touched upon the lives of so many people with her love, enthusiasm, zest for life and absolute conviction to give back to the area? We could make this moment a chronology of her life and go through piece by piece her milestones and achievements. However, that would take us more than a couple of days. So we can instead look at some of those defining moments that truly show us the amazing person that she was. No great story can start, however, without a beginning. And as covered by Kerry's brother Jeff, Kerry was a born and bred local, being one of the last Sunnyside babies. After completing her primary school education at Naranga Primary School, where of course she was the school captain, she went on to Aurora High School. After completing her HSC, she jumped on her two-stroke trail bike and rode up the mountain to the University of New England, where she completed a double degree majoring in ancient history and psychology. And these are my words, something that probably helped her in later life when she met Chris. Later, she and Phil Emanuel began travelling around Australia. 4 children later, Jessie, Jamie Lee, Georgia and Marshall returned to the place in her heart that she always called home to raise them, Coffs Harbour. Not long after, she became a single mother of 4 and in true Kerry style, stood up to the challenge to provide a better life for herself and her children. So started her life in real estate. Commencing as a personal assistant, it wasn't long before all those who worked with her knew her talents were wasted, and she quickly became a sales agent. Kerry always said it was easy for her. She loved talking to people and she loved houses. Anyone who knew Kerry, however, knew that it was a lot deeper than that. It wasn't talking to people that Kerry loved, it was helping people. To her, real estate was never about the houses, never about the commission, never about the prestige. It was about helping people through whatever their problem or situation was. There are countless stories from people she has helped over the years, and never has this been more evident than on social media over the last week, with so many thankful clients, or as Kerry would call them, friends. Within months of starting in sales, a lady came into the office. She was very plainly dressed. Having a cursory glance, all of the experienced agents turned up their noses, but not Kerry. Organising to pick her up the next day, Kerry had her in the car, showing her some homes when the lady said she wouldn't mind seeing something with ocean views. Acceding to the woman's wishes, Kerry took her to the penthouse apartments at Sapphire Beach that were still being constructed. The woman walked between the 2 apartments, both worth well over $1 million each, looking at the views. After a while, the woman told Kerry she loved them but couldn't decide which one she preferred. In true Kerry style, she said, "Why not buy both?" A long story short, the next day, the woman's husband flew up from Melbourne to pay a deposit on 2 apartments. That was so typical of Kerry though. It wouldn't matter if someone was driving a Bentley or a beat-up Datsun. It wouldn't matter if they were wearing designer label clothes or clothes from an op shop. She treated everyone with decency and respect. She always had the ability to gain an instant rapport with people, equally at home, at a black tie event, or at the pub with locals. Kerry just had a way to make people feel instantly at ease. Never told better than by Fiona Bryant-Smith, who tells the story of her first meeting with Kerry well before she became Kerry and Chris's first employee at Real Estate. About 16 years ago, a lady with big hair leopard print tights, high heel boots, dragging a gigantic pink tub, walked into the office where I was working and said, "Hi love, I'm Kerry." I wasn't quite sure what had hit me. It turned out to be the wonderful woman who saved me from a really bad situation a couple of years later when her and Chris's life also hit a speed bump. In true Hines' fashion, it made them stronger. There are countless stories out there, even in the crowd today, of those magic Kerry moments that have touched us all. Social media exploded with sentiments and stories, from well wishes to numerous stories of her going well and truly beyond expectations. From withdrawing money out of her own account to ensure properties could settle on the day, to sitting with grieving people and helping them through difficult stages of their life. Apart from her kindness shown to all, she was also not one to be crossed, and someone you would always want on your own side. I am so proud and honoured to say she was a strong supporter of mine. Regardless of your political views, you had to appreciate Kerry's loyalty. One very funny moment during my campaign was the morning Kerry found that someone had removed my call flutes from the front of their office. With the signs gone and another candidate's supporters standing at nearby intersections waving various placards and call flutes, in true Kerry fashion, she had Chris tape my call flutes to her front and back and began walking up and down the street like a mobile billboard, talking to all and sundry. I think there might have been a bit of abuse too. A formidable woman you certainly wanted on your side. Never one to sit on the sidelines, she was the matriarch of a large family, a highly successful real estate agent and a businesswoman. But Kerry still found time for giving back to the community. As she would say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. A former Coffs Harbour City Councillor, former Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce, current board member of the Commerce Harbour Women's Health Centre incorporating Headspace Coffs Harbour and Grafton, presidents of the iShare Park Committee, and perhaps the thing that she is the most proud of, her 10-year association and committee membership of the Can Do Cancer Trust, raising funds for patients, attending the Mid-North Coast Cancer Institute, a place she was later to spend a considerable amount of time. Apart from all of these formal positions, she always found time to advocate for people with problems and mentor business women and be a sounding board for anyone with a problem. Kerry's finest achievement in her eyes were her children and grandchildren. Never one to use the term step, her and Chris's children were their children. Jessie, Jamie Lee, Georgia, Marshall, Patrick and Natalie, or our big crazy bunch, as she referred to them. In fact, if you walk into their home, there is a sign on the wall that says, "Remember, as far as anyone knows, we're a nice, normal family." Three of the things she was proudest to instill in them was a sense of love, independence and work ethic. One of the things she looked forward to each year was the annual family holiday. Each year, for about the last 10 years, the family would travel to Bali for a week or so. As everyone got older and moved away for work and education, it was a chance to bring the family all together. One of the family's favourite Kerry catch cries came from a trip to Waterbomb Water Park, where Kerry yelled from the top of a giant water slide, "See you all at the bottom." Her other great legacy is her grandchildren, Miranda, Juliet and Austin, with no doubt more to come. She loved nothing more than playing and reading to them, and even bouncing on the trampoline, although her back may have been telling her other things later. I have no doubt that her legacy will continue. Apart from the children and grandchildren, the other great love of Kerry's life was undoubtedly Chris. coming together at a totally impromptu meeting at the Coffs Harbour Hotel on a Wednesday night is hardly the makings of a fairy tale love story, but it certainly did develop into that. Kerry was at the hotel with her great friend Lindy, who had just done a tarot reading course and was going to read her cards for a bit of fun. Jeff is quite correct with his story, but I'm told that one of Kerry's girlfriends had said, "What do you want for dinner?" At which point Chris was walking past and she said, "Him." What started out as a long-distance relationship ended up in the epitome of love stories. Partners in love, life and business, they were inseparable. The last 12 months had been tough, especially after Kerry's diagnosis with cancer. Kerry, being Kerry, did not want the fuss and distraction of everyone feeling sorry for her, so kept her circle tight with the diagnosis. With typical courage and fight, she took it head on. After months of chemotherapy, she went into partial remission and even managed another overseas holiday with Chris that will be forever in his memory. However, unlike most fairy tales, there was not to be a happy ever after, and the disease came back with a vengeance in June. Being her stoic self, Kerry continued the fight, and as late as last week held out until all the grandchildren and children arrived to say goodbye. She passed away peacefully on Tuesday night, 13 August, with Chris by her bedside holding her hand. Like every great person, Kerry leaves a huge legacy, not just in the traits and values that she has instilled in the family, but by the service she has provided to the people of Coffs Coast. This has never been more evident than the outpouring of emotion on social media and the generous donations to the Can-Do Cancer Trust made on her behalf since her passing, which now exceeds $12,000. If anything, she has taught us to be kind and to look after each other. Kerry will always be unique, special and quirky. She will be remembered as that larger-than-life person who gave so much for so many. We will miss her, but we are all better off for having had her in our lives. Kerry Marie Hines.
There are memories that we share and those that we do not. Some remembrances are too soft and too treasured to be held by the hands of others. Fawned over and passed around like a diamond that must be examined, exclaimed over and adored. Some memories are too precious to share with anyone, and that is where we keep our most cherished recollections of everything and everyone that once made us feel so alive. Thank you.
I have fought the feelings, great start. I have fought the feelings and emotions inside that fills and empties me like a fast rolling tide. There are moments of pain, of sorrow and hate, leaving me to ponder many hours of late. I love you, honey. It's your presence I miss. And I terribly long for that one last kiss. But the greatest pain of all that hurts me so deep is after giving you my love, I can't have yours to keep. To have you by my side, always longing for more, and have you feel the same, to mutually adore. You see, my love, I have given you my heart and revealed the depths of my soul. And now I am left hopelessly empty, paying this immeasurable toll. It's selfish, I know, to feel this way, but it's how I feel each and every day. Always hoping and praying for the next time we meet, for you to allow me once again to feel complete. And rest assured, I will see you again, for it's not a question of if, but a question of when. And when that time comes, I'll be in total bliss, for no longer will I wait for that one last kiss. Thank you.
Baby, you're all that I want. When you're lying here in my arms, I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven. Love is all that I need, and I found it there in your heart. It isn't too hard to see we're in heaven. Oh, once in your life you find someone who will turn your world around, pick you up when you're feeling down. Now nothing can change what you mean to me. There's a love